Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Season 4 TechRise. I'm Desiree Vargas Wrigley, a two-time Latina founder, turned funder, and executive director of TechRise. For those of you unfamiliar with TechRise, we host these weekly pitch competitions to support overlooked founders from all over the greater Chicagoland area in a variety of industries. And today we're focused on transportation and logistics. So the way it is that each founder is going to take the stage for about 4 minutes, and then they'll have 4 minutes of Q&A with some expert judges. And then the judges have the very difficult task of going on and deciding who will win $25,000. So good luck to all of our founders today. And while they are deliberating on who's going to be the winner, we're inviting Matt Silver, a two-time founder here in Chicago in the logistics space, to talk to us a little bit about his success and what has been going on as he built his second business, Cargado. All right, and with that, I'm going to welcome our awesome judges to the stage. So welcome back to Abanaya Konduru. She's principal at M25, focusing on Midwest-based pre-seed and seed stage investments. She joined the fund in 2017 and spearheads the team's outbound efforts, along with leading deals and working with portfolio companies. In addition to investing, Abanaya brings the Chicago community together through various events she co-hosts or hosts, from 300-person events like Chai Tech IRL to 5-person dinners. And she actively runs a text group where 400 plus people receive a weekly text about the awesome events happening throughout Chicago. I actually haven't gotten on your text list, Abanaya. I need to fix that. But thank you for all that you do for our ecosystem. Next, I'm going to introduce Colleen Knetz. She is principal at Iron Spring Ventures and is an early stage fund focused on making traditional industries more productive, secure, and sustainable. Iron Spring invests across manufacturing, construction, transport, and logistics and alternative energy. And before and during her time at Kellogg, she worked for several of the nation's largest utilities at Bain & Company and interned for a couple of climate tech funds while completing her MBA. She joined Iron Spring 2 years ago and resides in Austin, where her team is headquartered. A former swimmer and avid cyclist, she's found an incredible home amongst all the active communities in Austin, but still makes it back to Chicagoland to see close friends and family as much as possible, which we're so grateful for. And last, let's welcome Victoria Leon from Hyde Park Venture Partners. Victoria is vice president at Hyde Park Venture Partners and has been with the firm since 2022. Prior to HPVP, Victoria was co-founder and COO of startups across edtech, mobile gaming, fintech, and adtech. She has built and operated companies from the ground up, meaning she's done everything from product to fixing toilets to launching and leading a new office across the country. She holds a BS in chemical engineering from UCLA and an MBA from the University of Chicago's Booth School of Business. So thank you all so much for being here today. All right, with that, we're ready to get started. And we are going to welcome Nana Arkorful, with Arke. Great
Hi,
to see you
everyone.
again.
You too. Thank you, Desiree. Thank you, Pete33, for this opportunity, and thank you to the judges for joining today. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, and you guys let me know.
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay, is it changing?
It is.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm sure everyone here has been stuck in traffic for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or even an hour. But imagine being stuck in traffic for 8 staggering hours just to go 20 miles. That was my experience when I visited Ghana earlier this month. And my brain was racing. The economy of a major city is at a standstill. Where is the micromobility infrastructure to decongest the roads? And where else does this problem exist? Hi, my name is Nana Arkorful, and everywhere I go, this problem slaps me in the face. So I founded Arke to make the world more accessible with affordable electric bicycles. 1 billion people commute by bike every day across the globe. For some, it's a choice. For many, it's a necessity. And bike commuters, including me, are struggling with efficiency and the cost of efficiency. E-bikes' high cost of ownership, maintenance, and repair leave them only to be desired and not acquired, begging the question, are e-bikes sustainable? Our answer is not yet. That is why we built a low-cost solution to owning an e-bike. Our solution, the Venture, is a $500 retrofit kit that only takes 5 minutes to install. It is throttle powered, meaning no pedaling is required, and it goes 20 miles per hour. Imagine going from Hyde Park to O'Hare or O'Hare to Hyde Park on one single charge, roughly 20 miles. We're generating revenue with our beta direct to consumer. We're currently in conversations with delivery services and institutions to initiate pilot programs. We've done this 100% organically. We've also raised over $100,000 in dilutive and non-dilutive funding over the last 5 months and have locked in key partners to support our growth. The non-dilutive cash is being used to build the OrdrSmart. It's about half the size and 3 times the power, with fast charging and connectivity that allows us to learn more about the world with each ride. We've been testing out market demand by driving customers to our e-commerce website direct to consumer. We've had some interesting connections that have proven that exploring B2B options would significantly impact our scalability. Our approach to market is pretty aggressive compared to our competitors. After beta, we will launch a Kickstarter as well as physical activations, followed by a pilot program. This is a $500 billion market, representing exponential growth potential for us as we scale. We are simply the most affordable solution to owning an e-bike. It just so happens that this solution is also easier to use, lighter, and easier to service than our competitors. Plus, it's your bike electric. As a physicist, making things move is in my nature. Back in 2019, I worked on an ICE to EV car conversion with my dad, giving me direct experience in building this solution at a high level. Mark, on my right, is an expert in power delivery, and together we have a combined experience of about 18 years in mechatronics, and Haki to my left, and I have a combined experience of about 20 years in marketing. We've broken down the business to its main drivers and a product from the screw to the glue. From there, we built out an extensive model that provides us a direct understanding on how to grow and scale. Today's $25,000 cash prize will enable us to complete the beta for the OrdrSmart and prep for production and commercialization. Arke is making e-bikes accessible to everyone, and in turn, making the world more accessible. This is the future of transportation and logistics. If you'd like to know any more about us, our product, and our detailed go-to-market strategy, please reach out. Thank you.
All right. Abinaya, will you kick us off with some questions?
Absolutely. I know. Thanks so much for the pitch, and great to kind of see what you're trying to do here. My question is more around the manufacturing and where you're sourcing the parts from. Can you help us kind of understand a little bit more about where you're getting the actual parts and how you're sourcing them?
Yes. Well, our expertise lies mainly in design and building, but our manufacturing process has kind of been ironed out over the last 5 months, and we've locked in, like I said, with some key partners. So we are currently sourcing in the best place to source these components, which is in Asia. But we're continuously looking and iterating our manufacturing process to make sure that it's smooth, and we're looking ahead to kind of mitigate any headwinds.
Colleen?
As an avid cyclist, I was excited to hear your pitch. I also know that bikes can be intimidating, especially for people who aren't super familiar with them. Do folks install this themselves, or do they need to go through a local bike shop? Like, how easy is it for a customer to install?
So it only takes 5 minutes to install, and it's built for customers to install it right outside of the box. And so it's 3 components. You just kind of slap it on, and you're good to go.
Victoria.
Cool. Thanks for the presentation. I think retrofitting would definitely make e-bikes more accessible, which is pretty exciting. Can you talk a little bit more about the pilots that you mentioned?
Yeah. So currently we're in talks with delivery services. So that market is actually outside of our borders. I've had the privilege of visiting Ghana and doing some market research, and a lot of customers and ecosystem partners were mentioning buying multiple. And I've never heard anyone in America say they want to buy 5 or 10 units at a time, right? And their mentality around that is, I buy multiple, I buy 10 of these, then I can actually use them to support delivery riders that are just using bicycles, right? And then on the institution side, we've actually been in conversations with the Chicago Police Department, and I'm actually meeting the mayor on Monday and I'm going to pitch this to him. And so I've been interviewing police officers, and I'm curious. I'm asking, you have 40 pounds around your waist, right? You have all of this kind of gear on you, and you're riding a bicycle, like you're pedaling. Isn't this painful? And they're like, yes, like, we need e-bikes ASAP. But that budget is pretty big for the police department to just buy a completely new set of e-bikes, right? So our approach is, why don't you retrofit 5,000 of those, right? And maybe you can have some fully integrated e-bikes on the side.
Any last questions? Nana, any final thoughts then?
Yeah, so I did want to say that when I was 17, I was a victim of gun violence, and happened 3 months before graduating high school. And actually, when I got to college, I noticed that the school was on a hill and I can walk, right? Initially, I looked at that hill as an obstacle, but I eventually used that hill to learn how to walk again. And that just shows my commitment and passion to get over hills as we build Arke. So just want to put that out there and let you guys know that this is my passion. That my blood, sweat, and tears goes into this.
Thank you so much. And I think it shows up in your logo. So that mountain is there. It's there for all of us as entrepreneurs. Great job, Nana. Thank you so much. Thanks, judges, for great questions. And next, we're going to welcome Prarthana Gupta with OrdrSmart.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here. So in the consumer world, samples are usually the small things you get at a Costco. However, for the 600,000 manufacturers in the United States, samples cost an average of about $100,000 a year. That's $60 billion being managed with completely archaic systems. I'm Prarthana Gupta, the CEO and co-founder of OrdrSmart, and we are here to bring manufacturing software out of the 90s. Now, every manufacturing sale, whether it's for a case, pallet, truck, or container load, starts with a product sample. However, 90% of these samples, or the products that are being sampled, do not live in any systems. And this causes extremely high failure rates for industry leaders like Cargill, and less than 10% of these samples actually convert. At OrdrSmart, we are digitizing the most traditional and widely used manufacturing operation in the world, physical product samples, to help manufacturers increase revenue, decrease costs, and reduce failure. Now, our team has started speaking with manufacturers across the country. We've heard from small companies all the way to large enterprises that sampling is a bottleneck to their growth, and we've listened. Today, our platform has 3 manufacturers using it, and so far, we've unlocked over $150,000 in revenue for them. What's really exciting is what started with just 4 products on our platform has grown to over 130, with more being added every week. Pricing is pretty simple. We charge based on the number of products and usage. As catalog size increases for manufacturers, so does our price. Now, archaic processes are not new to us. Our team comes armed with experience digitizing supplier catalogs and operations. Shubham, my CTO and co-founder, has done this on his father's factory floors, and I have rolled out technology for over 500 suppliers at Wayfair. We know the secret sauce to driving adoption in this industry. Unlike other platforms, the OrdrSmart software tackles the root of the problem. Product data is not being stored anywhere. By digitizing that product data at the sampling stage, we enable manufacturers to digitize all of the operations around it. Our platform starts with pre-ERP catalog management across old and new products. Then, as we manage the entire sampling process, we use this data to detect errors in product specs, operational issues, and logistics. Finally, we automate sample logistics and operations so that teams can spend more time focusing on larger orders. The game changer, though, is the natural network effect that the platform has. As manufacturers use our platform to receive samples from a vendor or send samples to a customer, these vendors and customers become OrdrSmart customers. And this strategy enables us to unlock growth in a market worth over $20 billion. Now, OrdrSmart is enabling manufacturers across industries digitize product sampling. We're starting with the most complex, and largest segment of the market, the food supply chain. But whether it's a sample of a flavor that's going into a protein bar or the fabric that's being used in the t-shirt you're wearing, every sale starts with a product sample. And with OrdrSmart digitizing this critical operation, manufacturing can finally step out of the 90s. The $25,000 from today will enable our team to release much needed product improvements and onboard additional customers from our sales pipeline, enabling us to reach around 200K plus in ARR by the end of the year. Thank you. And please reach out to learn more, or let me know if you just want a sample from one of our manufacturers.
Great job. Thank you. Colleen, will you kick us off with some questions?
Yeah, absolutely. Would love to hear why start with food.
Yeah. So when you think about food and sampling, well, actually, this takes us back to the origin story of OrdrSmart, which didn't exactly start as software for product sampling. My father comes from the food industry in India, and I set out to solve for sourcing and procurement of ingredients. As we spoke to suppliers within that space, we learned that they're fine with like the procurement at the end of the day. What starts to happen in the middle is the sampling stage breaks down. And when failure happens in the sampling stage, it doesn't matter what happens in the PO because it was never logged. That was the impetus to begin with food. But then as we shifted over to really focusing on product sampling, we evaluated pharma, chemicals, apparel, and a few other industries. And food manufacturers, especially when you come to us being in the Midwest, also just seemed like the market that is most accessible for us. So be where your customers are and grow quickly with them.
Got it. Thanks.
Victoria.
Thanks for the presentation. Can you talk a little bit more about what exactly the types of failures are in the sampling stage? And I think you mentioned this earlier, but you say that samples don't live in any systems today, but like, what is that process like? How exactly are these things tracked, or are they just not tracked at all?
Yeah, both great questions. Let me start with maybe the first one. So examples of failure across the sampling stage can occur at any different points of time. One is a classic, like a game of whispers going through emails and phone calls. Usually when you get a sample request, it can come through with 100 different specification requirements, such as I want the moisture to be X, I want sweetness to be Y, so on and so forth. And even one of these things being off with like a 95% confidence interval can result in that sample actually being rejected and another one being asked for. That's one type of failure. Another one happens when you miss sending some product data. So for a lot of vendors, sampling is the stage where they start to collect all of the data they will require against those products if they have to move on for procurement, because they parallelize these things. But when you're creating versions of these products, spinning them up on a day-to-day basis, these manufacturers are storing these files on like T drives. They're across labs in different countries, and usually they miss sending one or two things here and there. Finally, there's like logistics failures that happen. The easiest one, or funny in some ways, is salesperson promises, or technical sales is usually what it's called. They promise sending a sample, say, to Mexico. You actually cannot send a lot of products to Mexico, and they wouldn't know that until this request reaches maybe the customs person actually packaging the sample. And now
I'm going to cut in, sorry, so that Ab and I can get a question in real quick.
Okay, sure. Sorry.
Lots of details. Good. Go ahead, Ab and I.
Prarthana, how will you use this prize money today?
So in very specific terms, we have a potential enterprise customer that we really want to bring in on board, but we need to unlock a few product improvements that are actually a little ahead on our roadmap. So to be able to build that out quicker for this enterprise customer and get them started, this prize money would really, really help go a long way in getting that done this summer.
Well, maybe I was too aggressive in cutting you off. You have 20 more seconds if you want to go back to talking about the customs side of
I can answer Victoria's second question about where this is even tracked or not tracked at all. Short answer depends on the size of the manufacturer. The small to mid-size, you'll see using Excel sheets, some combination of something they've spun up internally as just like an operational system they're using.
Great job. That's time. So we filled it perfectly. All right, Prarthana, great job. Thank you so much, judges. And next we're going to invite Clarence Green with LBDaaS. LBDaaS or DaaS. I think I should say it DaaS. I'm sorry about that. Clarence, I'm ready when you are. Looks like you're good to
Can
go.
everybody? Okay. Global logistics represents 12% of the world's total gross domestic product. This industry generates terabytes of raw data every second. Despite its critical importance, many companies are not utilizing the power of this data for monetization. 68% of enterprise data is collected but unused. We spoke with dozens of companies across multiple verticals to gauge sentiment on leveraging AI and big data analytics. The results were alarming. 75% of companies do not leverage AI. 50% do not leverage basic big data analytics, period. Why? Well, 77% says it's too expensive, it may disrupt their existing system, and they don't have the data teams to implement. Now, the market size for this opportunity is huge. 39% of our respondents identified ocean freight as the vertical having the least supply chain visibility. We introduced a solution called LBDaaS. LBDaaS is an acronym for Logistics Big Data as a Service. This is an end-to-end computer software solution we're selling as a service to process logistics data from acquisition to monetization. Now, ocean freight struggles with fragmented, unclean, and dark data coming from shipping, ports, customs. LBDaaS collects this data in real time from any source. We automatically validate, cleanse, and normalize. Next, ocean freight needs insights on weather conditions, on how to cut their costs. We utilize proprietary advanced AI to generate these insights, deliverable through customizable dashboards. And finally, team, after we have created these unique and valuable brand new data sets, we offer a decentralized marketplace to trade securely and transparently. Companies are inclined to adopt off-the-shelf solutions versus develop in-house. Now, ladies and gentlemen, ocean freight is our first customer, and we're going to access them by offering pilot programs followed by usage-based pricing. Our unit economics demonstrate robust financial health, aligning closely with B2B SaaS benchmarks. We have a unique approach to competition. Our goal is to eliminate any traditional competitive boundaries and foster more collaborative growth within the industry. Why? Well, LBDaaS is offering a first of its kind platform that integrates seamlessly with any existing logistics operation. This means any potential competitor, Forkites, for example, could actually leverage our platform to enhance their own visibility offerings. With the use of these funds, we will secure 3 letters of intent within the ocean freight vertical. Now, fast forward 1 year, team. Imagine ocean freight managers across the globe are no longer struggling with data inconsistencies. They're achieving real-time visibility. They've optimized their routes. They've cut their costs, and their customers are ecstatic. Understand, we are at the right place at the right time. Let's start the transformation today and be a part of a solution that offers visibility, efficiency, and profitability to ocean freight and global logistics beyond. Thank you.
Great job, Clarence. Thank you. Victoria, will you ask our first question?
Sure. Thanks, Clarence. Can you talk a little bit more about how the insights are generated and some examples of what those actionable insights would be?
Okay. We generate insights on mostly logistics generate insights, how to optimize your routes. In ocean freight's case, they would maybe want insights on unpredictable weather conditions, how to cut costs, shipping, ports, IoT sensor data at the source, things of that nature.
Okay. And are they, oh, sorry, can I ask
No,
you
go
a
ahead.
follow-up, Desiree?
Yep, go for
Are
it.
they, how do you generate them? Is that automatic or do you have a human in the loop?
Our system is designed to, once we plug in with your system, we're going to ingest your data. It's going to come into our system and it goes through each layer of the big data value chain. And so we can integrate seamlessly with any operations through API, SDKs, et cetera, et cetera.
Nice.
Clarence, who's your ideal customer? I know ocean freight is a pretty big market. Who is the customer profile that you're targeting?
We are targeting small to mid-sized companies. Our goal is to penetrate the market in areas that are currently underserved by existing solutions, areas with high inefficiencies, areas with data-driven needs.
Pauline.
How do you plan to reach the carriers that you would want to serve? Yeah, what does go-to-market look like for you?
Go-to-market begins actually in our current market validation phase. So with the letters of intent that we are aiming for, that begins our go-to strategy. We will initiate pilot programs to lower the cost of barrier to entry and to demonstrate clear ROI immediately. Our goal is to demonstrate value. Once we demonstrate value, we anticipate low churn, et cetera, because we're building a sticky ecosystem. So once we're embedded into a company's logistics operations, that's our goal.
Got it. How do you reach them before, like in order to get them to do the pilot, how do you find them in the first place?
Okay, we're going to do targeted marketing, digital marketing strategies, and we have a goal with this 25,000. What we're going to do is we're going to hit every conference over the summer. We're going to set up booths, et cetera, and our goal is to just speak with our potential customers, get pain points, et cetera, and try to secure these letters of intent.
Got it.
So that's to answer your question, our main strategy are these conferences this summer.
Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. So Clarence, do you have any final thoughts?
Well, my final thought on another note, I would just like to thank each one of you for offering your time, lending your wisdom. This is my first time pitching. I am a new member of this community, but I'm a lifelong member. And so I just want to say, I know each one of you are busy. I just want to thank you on behalf of all of us. Ms. Desiree, this is an incredible movement that you put together. And I just want to say I'm very grateful.
Well, thank you. I let you go over because you were being so sweet. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Clarence, and great job presenting today. And as a first pitch, you did great. All right. So next we're going to invite Rafael Romero with Falco Systems. And Clarence and Victoria, if you guys could hop off video. Thanks.
Sorry.
No worries. All right, Rafael, we can see your screen, but we can't see you yet. Or hear you. All right, now we can do both. Now. Perfect.
Okay, hold on a second. I have to see my screen here. Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I am Rafael Romero. I am the co-founder of Falco Systems. We are a biometric system company, basically focused on facial recognition for boarding airplanes. What is the system problem that we have is that we're trying to solve the challenge to find and the time that you have to go through about finding your boarding pass, finding your cell phone with the boarding pass, finding your ID and your ticket. That takes time. That creates, that slows down the boarding process. And as you can tell, each of us has been going through a lot of these lines and wait to get to our destination. Our technology worked for international departed flights, so it's not entry. Falco Systems technology worked on facial recognition for international departed flights. Annually in the United States, there is around 100 people that board airplanes for international destinations. The opportunity that Falco has is to help expedite the boarding and also help with a mandate by Congress that states that airlines, airports, and private jet industry need to start implementing the facial recognition for international departure flights. Our solution is ready to go, and we are connected currently to CBP, Custom Border Protection's travel verification services. And we don't need any paperwork. We don't need any boarding pass or passport. We estimate that our solution will save around 15 to 20 minutes on the boarding process. Our solution is ready to go, and it's a software solution that uses facial recognition and is compatible with Android and iOS. Our current progress that we have made so far is that, like I say, we developed the solution that runs on iOS and Android. We were able to successfully connect, pass, and test our solution with the US CBP galleries. We are right now in conversations with private aviation operators, specifically a company called Signature Aviation, which is the largest operator of private airports, to start a proof of concept. We also have a confirmed meeting in the next couple of weeks with the Miami International Airport Chief Innovation Officer. And last but not least is we started the prototype of using our next solution, which is the smart glass. What makes Falco's unique is that our solution does not require hardware, therefore does not require expensive equipment, because our solution works on a mobile device, iOS and Android. Also, we don't require a RPF because we partner with resellers. Our team is composed by a combine of 50 years of experience in aviation and airport. And the highlight here is that Diego Ferrer used to be the former CIO at Chicago O'Hare, the busiest airport in the US, number 2 busiest airport in the US. The money that we're going to get from you, which is we see as an obligation, will be towards finalize our smart glass technology, marketing, and also will help us finalize the first customers in terms of legal requirements, MSA and SOW.
All right, great. Oh, sorry, Rafael. Okay, we're going to welcome judges back on. And Abinaya, could you ask the first question?
Yeah, Rafael, great job on the presentation. Where does the adoption come from? Is this the airports that need to adopt first, or is it just the end user?
What is it again?
Where does the adoption of the tech come from, or who needs to adopt it first?
The large airport, operational commercial airlines, CBP is right now, if you can see, if you go to any international destination, most likely you are going through facial recognition technology via tablet for exit. And recently we got approached by MIA, the Miami International Airport, to help develop a prototype for the mobile device for private aviation. So the pilots can use their own cell phones properly authorize those pilots, and they can just scan faces of private aviation. There's like 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, Colleen.
How do you make sure that people's like images and all of this data stay secure, right? Because as someone who's flying through, I don't know how I feel about a TSA agent pulling out a cell phone and scanning my face, their own personal cell phone maybe, and scanning my face with it, right? So how do you think about data security?
Yeah, it's not personal cell phone, Colleen.
Okay.
It's a company cell phone that is assigned to a particular gate. The data is the gallery is kept by CBP, Customs Border Protection. We don't have access. We don't have manage any galleries. We just provide the interconnection via API to CBP galleries. We don't even get your name or your last name. We only get a yes or no. That is you, and also the same time connects with the airline departing control systems. So first verification of you, and second is check you in with the airline. We don't have a knowledge of who you are. It's just your facial particular forms, and then the picture got deleted within 24 hours. Again, Falco is not a data company. We only provide interconnection.
Victoria.
Can you tell us more about the prototype with the smart glasses and talk about the reasoning of why you're choosing smart glasses over a tablet?
Yeah, smart glasses is less intrusive, and the smart glasses is a solution where you operate at the gate. You put the smart glasses on, and by just making eye contact with Michael Jackson, can just say, Mr. Michael Jackson, thank you for flying with Southwest Airlines. I hope you have fun in Punta Cana. It's less intrusive. It requires less equipment. And we think that once we are able to scale this solution, nobody in the world has smart glasses technology. And this is a product of my president, Diego, who I think is a genius. Diego also developed and implemented the system technology of facial recognition for international flights at O'Hare Terminal 1, 2, and 3, and 5.
Okay, we are at time, but great job, Rafael. Okay, thank you so much, judges. And now we have, last but not least, Brian Cordero with Greenclick Technologies.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Awesome. And can you see my screen?
Yep. And Colleen, you want to go video off for us? We are seeing your notes right now, so not presenter mode.
Seeing my notes. All right, give me 1 second. I knew this was going to be a problem.
Did you try going to the bottom right?
Yes, let me try it one more time. So here's my screen. Here we are. Do you see it?
We don't, but we can go through this.
Or what about now?
We still see the notes, but I think we can still get the gist of it.
Let me just get one more try. Just one more go. All right, what about now? No, still doesn't work?
Still doesn't work, but that's okay. Go ahead.
All right.
It's okay if we see the notes, or if we see the slides on the left, that's fine.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
All right, ready to go?
Ready when you are.
All right. Hi, my name is Brian. I'm the founder and CEO of Greenclick, the first car sharing marketplace that connects car rental agencies on site at hotels. For the past 100 years, car rentals have stayed the same, and only in the past 10 years has the industry truly changed. Travel seasons have hit record highs, with the top 10 busiest travel days on record happening in the past 2 years. For many, it's their first experience flying in, and for frequent travelers, it has increased their chances of having a poor customer experience at the car rental desk. And at large airports like O'Hare, Dallas-Fort Worth, and LAX, they even have shuttle services to reach the off-site car rental complex to get your car. And the customer experience has always been by the perspective of large rental agencies. And for Hertz, having all your cars at an airport is a simple process to manage, but has never been made easier for renters. So wouldn't it be great to get a room in a car at the same time? The ability to skip the lines and waiting, instantly pick up your car and drop it off at the hotel when you need to, and even create potential savings combining of room and rental. It crafts the most convenient start and end experience renting a car. And at Greenclick, we're defining a whole new customer experience with a complete self-service car sharing marketplace that connects car rental agencies at hotels, which is the market-defining opportunity that Greenclick is scaling. There are more than 4,000 car rental companies with more than 100,000 cars that would be very excited to move into hotels. And we have 10 letters of intent with 10 fleets with inventory access of over 800 cars ready to move into hotels across 12 cities in 7 states. And we're poised to grow to 28 fleets by the end of Q4 2024, becoming one of the fastest scaling car sharing companies in the US. With the combination of local car rental agencies and the technology to support our on-site hotel fleet, they're listing their cars in Greenclick's marketplace to generate a new source of bookings and grow their business. And hotels become incredibly valuable. Out of 76,000 hotels in the US, less than 10 hotels have an on-site car rental amenity, and differentiating yourself is always the top of mind of any hotel owner. In our vision, we hope to grow and expand in hotels and fully capture guest bookings with an API that can connect within the hotel's property management systems and synchronize all the relevant signals from hotels and fleets to provide the best offers to guests at the perfect time. With the funding available, we'd be able to continue our app development, support an in-room hotel marketing engine at our very first hotel pilot with one of our fleets, Rent-A-Car, that has an office space at the Wyndham Garden Inn Hotel in Fort Lauderdale. Out of pilot, we'll have enough data to accurately project utilization at hotels and slowly replicate our process to the rest of our fleets across the US and possibly even set up our second location. Right now, it costs more than $100,000 to operate annually for 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. And with our model, it would only take a $2,500 investment and a mobile app to open 24 hours a week, 365 days a year with no employees on site. We would be generating a 15% marketplace commission with $5,000 in monthly revenue to generate $50,000 annually with one hotel fleet at 20 cars with varying car models, then fully launching an independent Greenclick location to achieve our path to profitability. I've started in startups since I was 18, and with more than 5 years of IC's experience, my first fully funded startup at 21 as a growth lead at Speed Legal, and currently the executive chair at Stanford MIT Venture Lab, where I've been able to build an intimate network of top-tier VCs, leading thinkers, and publish the newest panel events in all industries of the newest innovation. I hope TechRise can help me successfully launch at our very first hotel and have the opportunity to launch in over 1,000 hotels. Thank you very much.
Great job, Brian. Thank you. Colleen, can you ask the first question? And you can go ahead and stop sharing, Brian.
I actually would it be possible to use it my appendix to refer to other slides?
Oh, sure. Go for it. Colleen.
There we go. I don't know why my video is not working. Sorry. There we go.
Nice.
Lagging. What's in it for the hotel? Like, did they get a cut?
Yes.
They probably have limited space, right? So I'm assuming like a passenger arrives, they Uber to the hotel, and then they just rent from the hotel. Is that what you're proposing? And then, yeah, how would the hotel benefit?
Yes, absolutely. So the hotel out of 76,000, less than 10 have this amenity. So as every hotel owner, they want to be able to differentiate themselves with different types of ancillary revenues as what we would kind of fall under as a vendor. Generally, the original agreement is just a lease and a vendor's parking space. So again, that space that they use for the office space, they get paid for the parking. And that's just the original agreement that's proposed. But using technology to disrupt those over-the-counter desks and to be able to connect with the APIs, capture full bookings, we're able to not only push new promotions such as park and stay packages, park and fly packages, upgrade rooms, and be able to get a discount on say the vehicle themselves or the discounted parking rates as the fleets are putting the money in to pay for the parking. Those are all different things that again curate the beginning and end of the customer's experience renting a car.
Victoria.
Is the pull for something like this more from the consumer or from the car rental companies? Like, what do the rental companies want to hear to adopt something like this?
So to go back to the customer's perspective, yes, the opt-in for our experience is for the customer. The customer with the long lines of waiting, having to wait for an hour, for having that terrible experience, going to the over-the-counter desk or even having to go into a Hertz shuttle to get to the offsite complex, they're opting in for our product. And that's to say, and regardless of if it is economy and if it's luxury fleets, they still can be able to put a vast majority of vehicles, and that's across the board with different types of fleet compositions, such as our fully electric fleet, our economy fleet, such as iRent, which has 60 plus vehicles, with about, that even have vehicles that are worth $30 to $100 a day, to electric vehicles, which we want to continue to have as one of our spearhead, things as the shift to EVs is happening, but also luxury vehicles. So when we have our 10 fleets that we have signed up, we have the range of economy vehicles all the way up to luxury. And so they've always wanted to solve this problem of entering hotels, but there hasn't been any technology to pretty much bridge the gap. But ultimately, it does come from the customer to opt in, wanting to skip the lines and waiting, and then have that instant booking experience. And there's multiple parts of that customer journey that would want to opt in.
Abanaya.
Brian, who owns the car and services the car? Is this the rental company or are you the middleman? Like, how does that marketplace work?
Yeah, of course. So at our core, we have apologies. At our core, the operations are owned by the fleet owner. So the fleet owner generally is they own the assets of the vehicle. So they're the majority risk takers of the platform. So when we look at the financials that are either the key decision factors of putting the cars and listing it onto the Greenclick marketplace, what we do is we do a 3-step process of viewing exactly what their operations look like now, which cars they can actually put in. So looking at the financing of their vehicles, a majority of these pilots have fully paid off vehicles, but they've been wanting to put in even higher, leased vehicles, and we show them a risk of, how much, that leasing agreement gets to, for the actual bookings that are possible at the hotel. So they own the vehicles. They also
And we are at time. I'm sorry, but great job, Brian. Thanks so much. And thanks, judges, for the great questions. And now we're going to send you off to the deliberation room while we talk with our friend Matt Silver. So go ahead, Brian, go. Everyone will see you later. And now, Matt, I'm excited to welcome you on. He is the CEO of Cargado, an early stage technology startup revolutionizing how US-Mexico cross-border logistics is executed, and previously started Forager in 2018, in which he sold to Arrive Logistics in 2022. Cargado has raised nearly $10 million to date. Congrats. And is backed by Primary Ventures, Iron Spring, who's here today, Zenda, Wishoff Ventures, and Ryder Ventures. So it's great to see you again, Matt. How are you?
Hey, good to talk to you as well. How's everything going?
Just hopefully making dreams happen today, especially in the supply chain, logistics, and mobility space. So can you tell us a little bit how you got into this industry? It's not everyone's calling.
This is definitely family related. My dad started Coyote Logistics back in 2007, and so when I was 19 in 07, so to do the math, I'm 36. When I was 19, I started working at Coyote as an intern. Worked in freight for about a week and a half, sorry. About 10 and a half, 11 years working at Coyote, but part of that time I ended up starting the Mexico business, grew that over a 3.5 year time span, and then left Coyote in 2018 and started Forager after that. And so I've been around freight my entire life. There's, this like truck thing behind me is like from American Backhaulers, which is the first company my dad had built. And so it's something that I've been around my whole life. And I connected that with technology and decided I wanted to go more and focus on building technology, not freight.
Yeah. I think I'm going off script as usual, but I feel like there's often a question around, are entrepreneurs born and made? And it sounds like you were both. So
it's
grew up with it.
There's a little bit in the family too. Like my brother built Molo and sold that to ArkBest right around the same time that we got acquired at Forager. And then my dad, obviously, he's working on his third company now. So it's been a mix.
Well, Thanksgiving dinner must be both competitive and exciting. So
none of us are well, yes. I mean, like we've got competitive natures, but like
emotionally competitive, not industrial.
Yeah, everybody always used to joke that we'd have a lot of freight conversations at the table back when we were all at Coyote together, and like it was definitely true. And there were also people from Coyote that came over for dinner, especially kids that were like a few years out of college from somewhere far from the Midwest. And so we had employees over every year. So it was definitely, freight talk the entire time.
Well, so speaking of, I think that a lot of times entrepreneurs are building kind of a brand new idea, not necessarily in a new space, but in a space that might be new to them, when it's something like they, it happens all the time in consumer, for example. But in more established industries and older industries, it seems like it's like you can create a massive business out of one key insight. And so I'm curious, like for Forager, what was the key insight that you were able to tap into? And then now for Cargado.
So Forager was a tech-enabled freight brokerage. So if everybody's heard of Uber Freight or Convoy, and Convoy had some news last year about how they collapsed and died, and I benefited from that. My co-founder came from there, and some of our engineers did as well. But we were an updated version of a model that already existed, in terms of the fact that we were a freight brokerage with what we thought was better technology and a better model. But we actually didn't always apply some of the sound business economics that we should have early on, which I learned my lessons from, and would never make that same mistake again. And that includes just not building another freight brokerage ever again. But so we were going after the traditional manufacturers that we wanted to try to help move their freight from Mexico to the US, and vice versa. This time around, we're going after the logistics companies that are doing that. And so we're building an actual software product that logistics companies, freight brokers, and trucking companies can actually use to collaborate and do business together. And it's software that people are paying a monthly subscription for. And we already have 22 companies signed up. So the exciting thing is we're avoiding all the marketplace dynamics that come from a take rate model and a market fluctuating, and we're focusing purely on just seat-based subscription.
Nice. So as part of the opportunity, then the explosion of logistics companies, it seems like there are more and more. And I don't know if that's just because we're in Chicago or.
There's more. So actually, most of our customers are not based in Chicago. And so there's some that have offices in Chicago, but there are a lot of brokerages here, but I just haven't called those guys yet. But so there's a few things. One is logistics. The logistics industry has definitely become more, willing to work with technology and invest in it. I come from the freight industry, and so there's a connection there that people trust me and my background and my experience and what I want to do with our technology, and they're bought into it. But then there's also nearshoring and the pandemic that scared everybody from manufacturing overseas in Asia, and thought makes a lot more sense to manufacture in Mexico. It's closer to home. All the politics right now are around nearshoring and around trade within North America versus overseas, plus China, TikTok, all that stuff. And so there's just all these reasons why trade with Mexico is exploding, and that became the #1 trading partner. And so what we built with Forager, we're building an iteration of what we wanted Forager to turn into, and we're just skipping all the stuff that we learned from last time by using that to build this time around, which is the most fun thing ever. And I've helped other startups think through some of that stuff to help them accelerate through that process. But yeah, we're capitalizing on the combination of logistics, being the top of everybody's mind, nearshoring being a core strategy, and the industry kind of being at a point where people will take new technology and they hate some of the incumbent products that they have to rely on today. And some of that's WhatsApp, but some of it's software.
Completely. It's logistics has been a growing category for venture here in Chicago, and we've definitely had some wins. But I can't help but notice that you have some great angel investors. Some of them are close friends of mine. But I noticed that at least when I looked on Crunchbase, that none of your early investors seem to be Chicago institutional investors. And I'm curious, without throwing anyone under the bus, why that is.
Well, I met Ty Finley when he was at Pritzker, while I was building Forager, and we started building a relationship, and that was why I went with Iron Spring. I know Colleen was just on here, and I've gotten to know her a little bit. But admittedly, my focus was, I don't think there's even any VCs left on this. So, but my focus was definitely looking at, brand a little bit. And so Nicole Wishoff is exceptionally well connected, has a big social media network, and has been really helpful. She brought Sahil Bloom in as an investor. Sahil has been coaching me on all the social media stuff I've done, and most of the customers that we've signed so far are people that found me on LinkedIn or through my newsletter, not people that I worked with at Coyote that have since gone on and worked somewhere else. We have some of those customers too, like some big ones, but like the biggest ones read my newsletter, and that's how that started. And so it was strategic. Zenda, based in Miami, Esteban is a former operator. He built his own company, sold it, really successful. Like he's been in our shoes as operators and builders, and so like there's something like that that's just not, that's different than everybody else. And then Primary preempted us, and that was, Zach came from LoadSmart, and he and I had built a really great relationship, and I trust him, and I had thought about trying to hire him at some point, and then they decided they didn't want to wait for us to launch our product. And so they let our seed round. The Chicago investors are like Amanda Lannert, Andy Dunn, my brother Andrew, I guess technically counts. I put my own money into the business, like a lot of it into the business. But yeah, oh, and Ezra put in an angel check too, again. Ezra Galston.
Yeah.
I just like I knew that I didn't need a ton of like logistics oriented investors, and I didn't run a full process because Ty and I have such a close relationship, and like honestly, Peter Chrisman had not started Grid Capital yet.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but I really appreciate that. I mean, honestly, it's self-serving because what I have, a narrative that I'm working on really about having more specialized capital here is going to be what allows industries to have huge, scalable, winning companies. And so, thank you for actually validating this thesis because, yes, the
I'm like very excited about that.
yeah, no, the industry expertise that is required to build in supply chain and logistics and the one that what's required for biotech and life sciences. I mean, they're very different than what's required to evaluate, a B2B SaaS company. And so while this is B2B SaaS, there is a layer and a network effect and probably expertise density that.
Yeah, and that's why I like Peter, why I like Ty. Eric Dubois just started at Chicago Ventures, and I think he's gonna be great there. They invested in Forager. I sent so many startups to them. I'm grateful that they did our last startup and all that stuff. And Eric's a close friend, so I've introduced to him a few founders. FreshX just won that thing yesterday. It was $1 million, and they're about to heat up, I think. And so it's exciting to see they're a Chicago startup. So that's where it's exciting to see that happen. But there's definitely a lot of investors that are not Chicago.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, hopefully the founders who are listening right now heard you rattle off all of those names and it's recorded. So great shout out for some excellent potential partners, both locally and nationally, and some great angels that have been very active in our community. Speaking of,
I've written a post that has a list of investors that I think lead or that invest in seed stage supply chain startups.
Oh, amazing.
So I'd go find it somewhere. It's about startup building.
Okay, guys, go search Matt Silver on LinkedIn, follow him, get his newsletter. Buy from him. Got it.
You don't have to buy him.
Well, if it's relevant, share it with someone that is in your industry that should. No, we want businesses in Chicago to get as big as possible so that you can continue. I mean, you're a second-time founder. This is the perfect example of what happens when you have a successful business. People back you the second time faster. You can do everything faster and more efficiently. And then hopefully, you become the civic anchor or one of the many civic anchors of our city in the future. So curious actually how you think about the next generation of founders in this space. What opportunity is there for you to support them either as an angel or in sharing your expertise or mentorship? How do you think about that?
So I write really, really small angel checks, but I am meaningful in terms of my impact. And I'm in FreshX's Slack channel. Now, sometimes it's a little bit much, but I will help where I need to. And it's got to be something that I can actually help with. And I don't know anything about manufacturing. And I just invested in Retail Ready. And I will help them where they ask for it. And I've introduced them to my co-founder and CTO who as they look for a technical leader. But the biggest thing I can help with is if somebody's selling software to freight companies, logistics companies, trucking companies, shippers, that's where I can help both with my experience, my knowledge, and my network and help, push that along. And then there's the experience of raising money and all the investors that I know, but there's got to be a blend of value there. Or if it's a marketplace that's really exciting, then I'll dive into that too, because there's a marketplace component to what we're building.
Absolutely. Any final parting words of wisdom for the founders who are working so hard on here?
It's kind of counter to Chicago, but like my co-founders in Seattle, two of my engineers are in Seattle. We're about to add a third person or a fourth person in Seattle, two people in New York. My head of go-to-market starts on Monday and she's in Chicago from G2. And so like we'll build a presence here, but like find the absolute best technical co-founder if you don't have one, because that's the most important thing, not necessarily where they are, as much as the fact that they can build the software, and like go build it as fast as humanly possible and get it into users, and like focus on the basic V1 and make sure it's lovable before you go past anything V1.
Great parting words. Okay. I think that the judges are coming back on, but maybe I just got a false start on that one because it said seconds away. But anyway, so I guess any second. Oh, here they come. Sorry about that. But Matt, thank you so much for spending time with me today. It was great to see you again. Congrats on both amazing businesses and your recent raise. And looking forward to following your progress and hopefully sharing some deals with you. So
absolutely. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye. All right.
Bye.
And so now we have their judges back on. Founders, if you want to come back on video, who's going to announce the runners-up and runner-up and winner today?
I will.
Okay, great. So we'll start with the runner-up.
All right. Thank you, first of all, to all the founders for taking the time to, first of all, build these companies and then to prepare for pitches. We know how intimidating it can be. So you all did a great job and we appreciate the effort and what you're building. So without further ado, in runner-up, tied for runner-up, actually, we have Arke Global and Greenclick Technologies.
Oh, congratulations, guys. So just as a reminder for our viewers, if they got second place, it means that they are in the running for the grand finale, which is a $100,000 prize. Right.
And then silent drum roll for first place, we have OrdrSmart. Congratulations, Prarthana.
Congratulations, OrdrSmart team. You're welcome to jump on and say something if you want.
Oh, I was gonna say like thank you, and I was yelling it here without like you guys hearing me, but thank you so much. This is going to be so helpful, and the team is going to be so charged up to hear this when I take it back to them.
Well, founders, thank you so much for all the hard work you put in. Remember, this is not a one and done experience, so we hope to have you back on TechRise soon. Judges, you did an incredible job today asking questions, and it was great to meet some of you for the first time. Stephen from Verizon, thank you as always for being our partner in this. And great job, P33 team, for pulling this together. So everyone have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Congratulations.